Action. Okay, this is chapter 2 of our story of the Russian invasion and fleeing from that. And in part 2, Sasha has already fled from Kiev, and now she realizes she needs to flee from Ukraine completely. So I'm going to let her start with her story. I've heard a little bit about the story, and it is moving and touching. And if you have daughters, dear God, when you hear the story, you're going to just want to hold them tight and love on those daughters because it's an exciting story. So tell us, Sasha, about your fleeing with your just 3 women together. I'll let you tell the story. It's exciting.
So at that point, so we were in Ukraine probably for a month at that point, and it was my mom. My mom made it over to the West, thankfully. She made it over. It was partially by train, partially by some people that asked to, like, she asked if she can go with them, and they let her take a ride to a certain train station, and then she took the train down where I was. And we were up in the mountains at that point, at the Carpathian Mountains, so west south, on the border with Hungary. So, but the problem was, so invasion wasn't stopping. We thought, we really were hoping it was going to be a short situation. Like, they get in, they, figure their political situation out, and they'll get out. They were not getting out. So it was continuing. Like, people didn't know what to do. People were still fleeing. It was a very long, long situation. Then people started going to the west more so, and people that we were with for a month at this point, they said, well, we have to do something. We have to leave as well, because you got to think about it. Some people couldn't go back to work, so there was no paychecks, right? So the savings could be running out. You can't go back to your house to get any of your things, so you kind of need to go and buy things that you need, especially if you have a small child. You need to have different things. God forbid you have an infant. If you're breastfeeding or not, you need to find formulas, diapers. Those things go the quickest.
Wow. Yeah.
So it was a situation where once my mom got to us, we had to, like, we were pretty much told the people that we're staying with, and it was actually, I think it was, I want to say it was over 9 people in a house. It was like, with kids, it might have been 13. And the police started going around and asking who's from where, who's staying here. So the government was trying to understand, I guess, where people went, who actually stayed behind. So we stayed behind, but then the people said we have to go. Essentially, nobody can stay here anymore. It was in a small village, and they said we have to go to the west as well, because, like, it's not sustainable. Like, we need to go. Like, I think her husband was in Germany, and she was gonna go to Germany with her kids. And she said, everyone essentially has to find where to go at this point, because obviously it wasn't long term.
Yeah.
At that point, my job had shut down as well, just like everyone else. So we've decided that we have to go to the west. Like, we need to go west. We just need to. We had no idea where to go. My sister-in-law kind of found a way to settle a little bit in Germany, but it wasn't quite settlement, because it was just, they give you a place to live for essentially when you get there. So she was in Germany, so we knew, okay, well, if anything, we can start at least making our way to Germany.
Yeah.
And see what happens. But we had nothing lined up. Like, most of the people that were coming up the trains, that, let's say they put you, because men cannot leave Ukraine, because they shut down, the borders for all the males because of, the army. So they would put their families on trains, and they just say, you go west, and let's hope,
men,
everyone was hoping it would essentially work out. Thankfully, that's when you have Red Cross and other organizations would step in. They would get you to train stations and try to settle you somewhere. So we had a car. So my mom and me and my daughter, we got in a car, and we just drove to Hungary. And from Hungary, we made our way to Austria. From Austria, we stayed in Austria overnight. So I pretty much drove from Ukraine to Hungary to Austria. We stayed in Austria overnight. And then from Austria, we went to Germany. I think it was South Germany where we ended up being, Stuttgart. And that's where we found a place through booking.
Oh yeah, this is the story. Oh my word.
We found a room through booking that looked like a very nice room. And we were like, okay, like, we need a place to stay overnight. We don't know what we're gonna do. Maybe we'll go back up to Poland. Like, we really had no idea where to go. So we essentially found a place to stay overnight, and it seemed nice. It seemed nice at first. We walked in, it was just a room, there was no one in the house. Um, well,
Oh.
at that time,
Mhm.
a big how do I want to say this? Human trafficking
Yes.
became a huge problem,
Mhm.
especially for Ukrainian women. There were stories on the news, and actually Germany had huge flyers printed out at any center you go in Germany, and I forget what they're called now, but essentially like any like welfare center you're going to go to register and get housing or whatever.
Mhm.
They had big flyers on the walls, and they said, "Do not talk. Like if a stranger approaches you and offers you stay and meal, do not go with them." Because
No.
we had women that were stolen, essentially kidnapped
Mhm.
from train stations, and nobody knew what happened to them. They were
Oh
just
god.
gone.
Yeah.
So that was a big like that. That's kind of a big.
And
Um,
imagine if that woman had a child and was left behind or something. I can't imagine.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, there's still you can still hear
Mhm.
stories of like crimes happening, but I remember back then it was a big story because they had to talk about it openly and say, do not,
Mhm.
if you get approached by someone, do not trust them. Go to find someone who's actually official, has an official tag or
Yes.
something,
Mhm.
because it happened. It started to
Mhm.
happen. So, and obviously, if you think about it, you're a woman, you don't speak the language, you got to a foreign country, you distraught, you such an easy prey. You such an
Mhm.
easy prey.
And you don't have any
Um,
money or food or shelter?
right, because it's euros, right? It's not Ukrainian
Mhm.
currency. You need to find where you're going to find a place that will accept Ukrainian currency and exchange it to euros. It is not as easy as you think.
Mhm.
Um, so it was definitely a very stressful situation for all the women in that case. So thankfully we had a car, and we had some savings. So we found a room through booking, and I was like, okay, we're gonna
Mhm.
stay in this room, and it seemed fine. We went to a grocery store. We came
Mhm.
back. Well, let's just say we came back to an apartment that had at least 8 men, just men
Uh-huh.
there.
Mhm.
Um, so my mom and me and my daughter will walk in, and there's 8 men essentially having dinner.
Mhm.
Um, so that was scary. We
Mhm.
walk in, they didn't say anything to us, they just looked at us.
Mhm.
Um, we saw them and we just ran to the room.
Mhm.
Well, not ran. I wouldn't say ran, but like walked to the room
Yeah.
because I don't want to alert
Yeah.
anyone.
Aw.
Um, we got in the room. There's 3 beds in the room, and they all really close together. And
Mhm.
the door is like it's not a deadbolt door. It's not a like metal. It's a regular, like a bathroom door. You can
Yes.
just like kick out in like a second
Yeah.
if you want to. So we're like, we can't sleep here. Like in my head,
Mhm.
I'm like, we cannot stay here. There's at least 8 males behind this door.
Mhm.
We didn't have our own bathroom. We don't have our own shower. We don't have our own kitchen.
Okay.
We're an
Mhm.
easy prey. There's
Mhm.
nothing we can do to protect ourselves. There's not a single like, weapon or nothing you have to protect yourself with. I
Yeah.
have a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old mother.
Oh god.
What am I gonna do?
Oh.
So essentially, I said like, okay, we're just gonna go. I'm like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
find the closest hotel. We're gonna go, and we did not undress. We pretty much took our stuff and was as slow like as quick or slow as we walked in. We walked out while they were having dinner.
Mhm.
I really like if we stayed there longer, I probably would have been putting my family in danger just
Mhm.
because the men like I don't know if they spoke English. They didn't speak English, so they spoke to themselves. They were not German nationals.
So
Uh,
they weren't even German
they were not
nationals. It
German.
was
I
yeah.
think from the looks of it, they were Middle Eastern. Like
Mhm.
I don't know what language they spoke.
Mhm.
Because we did not talk to each other, but they definitely witnessed, like they
Mhm.
definitely looked at us as they were eating dinner. I think the only reason we were able to kind of go in and out without a fuss because they were having dinner,
Yeah.
because they were mostly sitting. But that was a very extreme situation.
Wasn't there another room that had some guys in it cooking or something? Or am I?
Yeah, that's what they were cooking. So like
Yeah.
they were
Okay.
having dinner, and then one or two were cooking, like pretty much not too
Okay.
far from our door.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you said the well, obviously the pictures of the place when you got there didn't look like the pictures.
No, it did not look
That
like
was
the
another thing you said.
pictures.
They had like yellow sheets and like I felt like you
Yes.
said the room was not as clean as you thought it would be or what it looked like in the
It was
pictures.
very the room was pretty
Mhm.
much you take like a very small bathroom and you put
Mhm.
3 beds in there, like one close to one another, they're all touching. And
Mhm.
that was the room.
Okay.
Like it was like I think it looked like almost like it could have been an attic or something.
Okay.
The window was coming up on the roof. You can't even get out. It was like
Oh, so
out.
you're trapped in
Right,
that room.
right. There was no place to
You
go.
couldn't run, yeah.
Um, yeah.
There was something else you said about I thought maybe I'm imagining it. Another room that had a sign on the door that made you feel uncomfortable. Maybe I'm not remembering, but the visual of the place when you were describing it to me the first time, it blew my mind. It just that it there was
Well,
something.
no, but it could be too that like you
Mhm.
remember. Maybe I don't at this point because they blocked it
I
out because
thought
I
you
did
said it
not
said
want to remember.
videography. I don't know, like a
Oh no, no, no,
room
no. No,
that
what
said
happened was there was
mhm.
right next to that apartment, two guys were doing videography, photography,
Yeah,
and we saw them. It was like we're talking on like a walkway pretty much between
yeah.
the two apartments, and they saw that we're staying there, and they like really looked at us very concerned,
Okay,
but they
that
didn't
was
say
it.
anything to us.
There's those gut things that were happening
Yeah,
to you like that.
they just looked at us
You told
like
me those stories, like,
yes,
yeah, like why are you, or just
yeah,
things like that
essentially
were
while
giving
we
you
were
like
staying
a red
there.
flag to
But
get out.
why didn't they say anything? Like that was kind of what bothered me. Like they could have said something.
Yeah.
They didn't say anything. Just they would look very concerned. They asked why we were staying there, and they just that was the end of the interaction.
I
They
don't
could have
know.
warned us. I don't know.
Hmm.
So, essentially, we got to the hotel,
Yeah.
and
And you had to drive. Oh, God,
no,
this
no, no,
hotel, the hotel where all the.
the hotel was nice.
Okay, when you went to the next hotel.
Yeah,
But okay, you also told me you were exhausted,
of course.
and
Yes,
you were so tired to even get to that place, and then you
yes.
had to now get in your car and drive even more hours, right? Didn't you go like much
Um,
further then?
yeah, we had to go a little further.
Hmm.
And again, at this point, like I don't know Germany that well, so I
Hmm.
don't know which direction I was even going.
Yeah.
I just thought I was like, okay, this is the place. They have available room because everything, a lot of places were sold out too.
Yes.
So I found a place. I found a room. It looked nice. This is where we're going,
Mm.
and we got lucky. They had parking. It was a good hotel. So and we paid for 2 nights.
Hmm.
Um, and you have to like I give them a passport to register. I paid for 2 nights, and I had no plan. I'm like I have no idea what I'm doing after this.
Oh my
I need
gosh.
to sleep. We need to eat. They had breakfast. It's like we need
And feel safe, right?
essentially yes.
Somehow,
It was
as best you can.
it was really
Hmm.
a situation where like you have no plan. Like you
Hmm.
just gotta one like that's one thing I still do today. Sometimes when you have no plan, and this is advice for anyone, if you don't want to freak out and
Hmm.
panic, 1 hour, 1 minute, one night at a time.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
most. If this is the most you see ahead of you, then
Hmm.
this is what you're going to get until you see something
And
further.
accept it and work with it, right? And
Yes.
make it work the best you can.
Yeah, and this is kind of what the story where I say, if you are, and you hear this story multiple times for multiple reasons, but let's say you're in a foggy forest, right? It's a
Hmm.
foggy forest, and you see nothing in front of you, just
Hmm.
standing, and you see nothing is just a fog. What do you do?
Hmm.
Freezing when you have a 2-year-old is not an option.
Hmm.
I have people rely on me, like my mom, my daughter. I'm the driver. I'm the responsible adult. No one else can help me. Like I speak enough English to figure my way around,
Hmm.
Germany. Like I'll figure something out because I have all the resources. I need to essentially make this work. No matter
Hmm.
what, I have to make it work. So, in the foggy forest, what I would do is what I did in that situation. You just take one step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time until at some point you're gonna get somewhere, right?
Hmm.
So that's essentially what I ended up doing. And some things happen for a reason. And I know you believe in that, and I know you
Oh,
believe
for
in
sure.
certain spiritual things happening to you.
Oh, yes.
So when we were there in the hotel the next morning, um, there was a guy from Syria who found out our situation, and he's like, "What do you do after this?" I said, "I don't know. I was just honest. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing after this,
Hmm.
essentially." And he actually had a contact of someone in Germany who didn't live too far from the hotel. They had an empty office space because it was a COVID. Germany was still recovering from COVID, so not
Hmm.
everyone went back to work back in 2022. So they have an empty office space.
Hmm.
And he said, they will give you a room to stay. If you have no place to stay, they will give it to you.
Hmm.
So I called and they gave us a room to stay. It was literally an empty office. It was 2 mattresses that they got us to sleep on.
Hmm.
I think they gave us the pillows, the blankets.
Hmm.
There was a kitchen there that we could cook on, the bathroom, no hot shower. But essentially we made it work. So we stayed there for maybe I want to say we stayed there for over 2 weeks. You look like you're going to cry.
Cry, but it doesn't matter. It
Um,
makes me feel good that you're safe. That's all. That you
oh,
felt
thank you.
safe for a moment.
Well, we stayed there for. Now you're
Hmm.
gonna make me cry.
Hmm.
We stayed there probably for I want to say maybe 3 weeks. I can't remember at this point, but the Germans were very nice, and I
Hmm.
appreciate it. Like he'll never see this podcast, but if he ever does, I'm so thankful that we met him because he
Yeah.
gave us, a place to stay for free.
Mhm.
And that was the moment where we kind of relaxed a little bit,
Mhm.
because my plan wasn't for an hour or a minute or a day. It was for a little longer. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I have in between to figure out my next step. Um, so we ended up going to a welfare, I guess, building or office, and they said, well, we have a place to stay. Like, at this point, there was such a flood of refugees from Ukraine that a lot of people were staying at the gyms, like big
Mhm.
auditoriums,
Mhm.
essentially, and sleeping there until they found something.
Yes. Mhm.
In Germany, it's very difficult to find a place to rent. I mean, even in the United States, right? You need to have proof of income,
Oh
pay
yeah.
stubs. So in Germany, you also need to have someone to vouch for you, like a neighbor or
Mhm.
someone who knows you. And we don't know anyone.
Mm-mm.
So they found a place to stay for us in like a welfare, like a dorm
Mhm.
essentially. But that was a story on its own as well. We get there. It was on the third or fourth floor with no elevator, and I have a 3-year-old
Yeah.
essentially, and she has to walk all these steps with me. I have to carry her. It's not easy. The room had we got into the room. You can tell the room was kicked out before by someone, because
Mhm.
you can tell that the doorknob was either broken, or like there was certain spots on the door where you can tell it was pretty much kicked in.
Yeah. Damage and stuff.
And so they like replaced the lock or something, but you can tell it wasn't the best
Yeah.
place. We go in, the floors were sticky, the beds were bare. They gave you mattresses you could have put on, but it was one of those like metal beds, like those
Mhm.
metal springs.
Yes. Mhm.
So it was the
Like
bed like
hot.
that,
Mhm.
yeah. Um, and we were sharing it with other refugees, which
Mhm.
wasn't a problem. But I was concerned for the safety, because there was a family or couple. There was a man there too, and he, like, I remember being there, and he started fighting with his wife,
Oh.
and it was just not like, I was thinking, for a 2 or 3-year-old, it was just, I'm always concerned, because let's say I find a job in Germany, and let's say I found a job, I have to leave.
Oh,
Um,
your daughter. Yeah, with
my
your
daughter,
mom.
my
Mhm.
mom, like,
Mhm.
they won't know what to do. My mom would know what to do, like where to
Mhm.
go. So I got concerned about her safety. So I was considering, well, it's not going to work out long term. We cannot be living in this office the entire time, because at some point they're going to go back to work, right?
Mhm.
So we considered going to Poland, just trying out another country. And then thankfully, I talked to you,
Mhm.
and you reached out and you said, if you need a place to stay.
Mhm.
I was like, well, there's got to be a sign that we're in a situation where we need to figure this out.
Mhm.
And I talked to you, and it worked out, and I
Mhm.
was really happy. And I remember we got here, and my daughter, you can just tell my daughter, she just, like a 3-year-old who doesn't, like, at that point she turned 3. Um, I just remember she got upstairs in her little room, and she just
Aw.
like took like a big exhale, and I was so happy, because she's like, I've gone through hell. She's gone through her own level of hell for her age, and it
Yeah.
was just, for me as a mother, it was so gratifying to see I got my daughter to safety. Like,
Yeah.
it's not about me, but I got my child to a
Mhm.
good place.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that was quite a story.
It was a story. My gosh. And on my end, I'm just like la di da living here in the US. I'm like, ah. And I kept reaching out by instant messenger because we couldn't communicate any other way. I don't think you
Yeah.
were afraid, I think, to even communicate about things. So every so often I would get an instant message, but not that often. And I did offer the place right away. And then I
Mhm.
didn't know if you seemed like I didn't know what you were doing. So I thought, well, then all of a sudden you were going to move in like you asked if you could come and you had like a 4 week plan, maybe a 6 week plan. It was weird. You had like a 6 week. You said, well, in 6 weeks, can we come? And I was like, yes. So I, at that moment was, and it is, I would, I was so thankful to have you in my home because I was alone in this house. And I had actually been living in, there's a thing called a little room that I had double bed in. My bedroom was completely empty with no furniture in it. I was divorced. I was divorced. So I was still living in this little room that wasn't a little, it's actually a big room. It's the room over the garage. I
Mhm.
was sleeping in the room that I let you and Mia sleep in.
Oh.
And when I was in that room, I was a little depressed and I had to fix up my bedroom to get new furniture in my bedroom because my goal was to move back into my bedroom and then have the room that I was sleeping in is kind of where the kids would play and stuff, my grandchildren. So But I was lazy. I wasn't fixing the room up. I didn't care. Like I didn't care about anything. Like I was just knew I needed to furnish that room, and I was like I really didn't care about furnishing that room. So once I found out that Sasha and her family were going to move, her daughter was going to move in with me, it was interesting because I thought I had this time period. I had 6 weeks, so I had started paying my daughter Julia to paint the room for me. And I was just thinking, okay, I'll get my room set up. I'll move back into my room, and then when Sasha comes in 6 weeks, she can have this room that I'm sleeping in because I had just a double bed in it, and I had a couch and a TV, and I thought this is a perfect place for her to feel comfortable and be in her own space. It's kind of like a weird, like long room above the garage. So um, all of a sudden you called and you're going to be there like in 10 days or something. You're like, uh, is it okay? And I could tell you felt so bad, which is so weird that you felt bad because I'm like, I have this home that is welcome and open for you. And I'm like, no, of course. But then here you are telling me you're sleeping on the floor to office and not to worry about fixing anything up. You can sleep on the floor. It doesn't really matter. I don't need a bed. And I'm like, but my brain is like, no, I'm going to have a bed for her. I'm going to have a bedroom all set up. So in like this short time, I remember I didn't have a bed and I didn't really, at that point, couldn't afford to buy like a new bed for my room. So all these people helped. Like my friend Jess gave me a bed out of her garage that she was getting rid of. It was sitting in her garage and it had a mattress and I had to put the bed together. But I remember I had to order a day bed. I ordered a little day bed for Mia, and I thought she's gonna have a stuffed animal. She had the little chair. I'm gonna put pretty bedspread on the bed. So when she walks into the room, it's gonna be for her to feel happy and for you to feel comfortable. So that whole room was gonna be their room. I cleaned out the closet, I think, which is really hard for me to do. I think I cleaned out like a whole part of the closet for her to have part of the closet. But I was trying to work and do all this, and the night before you came, it was like the night before I'd gotten my bed because I was still sleeping in that bedroom. I got okay. See the staircase here? This is my story. Queen mattress by myself,
Ooh.
me alone.
Yeah.
Turned it up. You know what I did? This is if anybody has to move a mattress by themselves. I just went like this, and I just kept turning it on itself, turning it on itself.
Oh.
I got a whole entire box spring and mattress up that thing by myself. By myself. I was bound and determined to have my place ready to sleep in, your place ready to sleep in, Mia's bed put together, my new bed put together. You have new sheets, everything fresh and clean with space for your stuff. And that way you felt like you had your own space. And it was so I was so happy that you came in and it was set up and you kept telling me, no, don't worry about it. I was and here like my stress is so minimal to your stress.
Well, I mean,
what you're going through.
At that point I would have slept on the floor.
Yeah. And then having them at night, I could cook for someone. And I loved you did buy me groceries a couple of times. She insisted on buying me groceries and I didn't care if she did or not. And I know your mom helped with groceries too. And just, it was wonderful. They were very, I wanted her to feel like she had a safe place. I wanted you to feel safe. And I was excited to actually have somebody to cook for. It's kind of sad.
Well, maybe we came to each other's life in
the right
moment.
And even, and I still remember Mia jumping up on her little chair waiting for her dinner. And just, I remember you just coming home because right away, I think did you start working right away?
So
did you work when you were with me?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
So we got here. I remember.
Oh yeah, tell your part of the story. Yeah.
But that's what happens when you go through a mental situation. Mm-hmm. Some things will stay in your brain, and some things you will black out. So I remember we got here. I think it was April 16th of 2022, and or 17th. And I got a job May 2nd of 2022. Mm-hmm. So because I told myself I need time to find work. I need to put Mia in preschool because who's gonna watch Mia while I'm going to work? I need to get a car because it's like I can't where we live. I can't walk to work at this point. So I got a car. I started going on interviews and I was able to get hired pretty quickly. So in May, I had a job. Mia started preschool probably first or second week of May, and I found a place to live in June. Mm-hmm.
So
really quick.
This is just like the bike story.
Yeah.
I'm watching Sasha fall off the bike and thinking there's no way she's going to be able to ride this bike in the time limit that she thinks she's going to do it, or at all even. She moves in here, and I, in my brain, was thinking year limit. I was thinking logical too, like, because I know that we talked about money and payment and rent and all that, because this girl's extremely responsible. She did not want to take advantage of me. But at the same time, I needed her to know that she felt welcome at my house. So I think I said, just chill out for 6 months. At the 6 month point, you can start paying rent, because I knew she was a very responsible person and she wanted to pay me, and I was refusing payment. But I thought, well, if I give her this time period, 6 months, you don't worry about anything. Because in my head, she comes at me, just gets here from fleeing from the Russian invasion from Ukraine, and she's in my house and she says, I'll only need to be here 3 months. I'm like, yeah, right. I'm like, just like the bike. I'm like, yeah, right. You're not going to ride that bike. Yeah, right. You're not going to be out here in 3 months. I'm like, what is she talking about? And I could not believe it. She worked her butt off. First, I watched her. It wasn't like she was laying around doing nothing. From the minute she walked in the store, she was looking for a job every night. She was on that computer. She was trying to get a job. It was like her job was to get a job. Then she did it. She did it. Then she was just driven every day, doing something, moving forward. She was not sitting, waiting for things to happen to her. She was making things happen. And I remember her saying the 3 month thing, and that's why I said the 6 month. I wanted her to feel comfortable. Like, I didn't want you to feel like you had to rush out. But just like the bike, I said, no way, 3 months, no way. And she did it. And I will never forget her telling me I've secured a place to live. It was really hard at that time to find even places to live, because the market was one such that it was really hard to get an apartment or to get a place. And she managed to do all this, find a job, save money, get her daughter in preschool, work, save money for down payment, get into a home, into a place, and she made it work. And again, even if you doubt someone, this is my advice. If you doubt someone and you're like, what are they talking about? Don't say that to them. Just say, okay, all right, you can do this. And then just be ready if they can't to catch them. But she didn't need me to catch her, because she was flying on her own and she did a great job. And I was blessed to have you in my home. Just so you know, you were a blessing to me.
Thank you. Well, I was blessed to know you and to help me out of the whole situation. Yeah, but I will say one thing that I will never take for granted is kindness of people. Like people that surrounded me during that time. Like, it's one thing you come to realize when you're going through such a traumatic or experience or just problems. They're nobody's problems. They're your problems, right? Everyone's typically like, you think about your life, you live in your little, your space, your bubble. You don't think about other people going through multiple things. So when I was going through it, I expected nothing from anyone. I'm just gonna see where I land. Like, I'm just gonna do what I need to do. I will do what I can, and at some point, something will work out. And I came across so many kind people. And even when we got here, when we were moving out, like, I found a place to live. We had nothing. We had no furniture. We had there's not a lot of clothes. It's like whatever we found at the I would almost said Humane League, almost like at a German Goodwill is what I brought with me here, right? That I was able to put into a flight, that whatever they allowed you to put in. So not a lot of clothes, not a lot of shoes, no furniture. And we had, you had, a lot of kind people that were able just to give us furniture, and we, kind of started. You pretty much, you start from ground zero. So I am never going to be afraid to restart my life again, because I know exactly what to do right now, because I've done this already. But yeah, everything was left behind, and it's just. Let me just tell you, you don't know what you are capable of until you do it. And now, like, I'm not doubting myself ever again, which is why I'm very determined, which is why I'm trying to find new things that, like, I thought I was never able to do, and I'm doing them. And I'm just gonna keep going.
So through all this, her whole life is a stand up and redo, right? I want to tell her my stand up redo, which is going to be so simple. But then I want you to tell me your stand up and redo, which your whole story was. But I want you to think about that. But my stand up and redo is two simple things, very simple. First is to have that ready bag or that ready suitcase ready to go. Second, though, is not to doubt people. is when someone tells you something, even if it seems so far-fetched and so outrageous, is to have faith in them. And even if you don't believe that what they're telling you is possible, and they do, don't kill their dream. Don't squash their spirit. Encourage them to do what their dream is and be hopeful for them. So that's my second stand up and redo. So now I would love Sasha to just, if she has any more of the wonderful story, to tell us what her stand up and redo is.
It's hard because I just feel like I just go through emotions in life, and I would say for anyone, no matter what situation you go through, you're gonna feel sometimes like you don't know what you're doing. I'm telling you, like even the story, I think her name is Dory from Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming, just keep going, one step at a time. You will get there. The path will come to you. The people could come to you. Something will work out, but do not give up. Like giving up is the easiest thing you can do. It's just simply not an option. Keep going, and you will be amazed, and you'll be so proud of yourself at the end of it.
All right. Well, thank you for joining our podcast. We appreciate you. We're happy that you were here. And we look forward to seeing you at the next Stand Up and Redo. So thank you very much.
Thank you.